are the group 4.
So today we are going to discuss the words that has the same pronunciation.
But they have different spellings and meanings, so stay tuned.
I am Jolene Alexia Francisco, but you can call me Ma'am Jaja for short.
And I am Mark G. Barbon. You can call me Teacher Mark.
So now, let's proceed to the words that has the same pronunciation, but they have different meanings. So, the first words are hang and hanged. The hang spelling with H-U-N-G, referring to hanging objects or non-lethal actions. For example, I hung the portrait on the wall. So, the spelling hanged with H-A-N-G-E-D, referring to a person being suspended by the neck until death. Example, he was hanged for his crimes. Next word are herd and herd. Spelling herd with H-E-R-D, referring to a group of animals or people that share the same characteristics. For example, a herd of elephants, a herd of Christian peoples. So next, the herd is spelling with H-E-A-R-D, referring to listening and auditory perceptions. For example, I heard a loud noise on the street. So the next word are here and here. Here with spelling H-E-R-E, it is when indicating time, point, or situation that has arrived or is happening. For example, come here and I'll show you the word. The here spelling with H-E-A-R, it is perceived with the ear, the sound made by someone or something. For example, I couldn't hear the words he was uttering. Now let's proceed to the word horde and horde. Actually, the word with spelling H-O-R-D, it is not recognized English word in standard dictionaries. It maybe appears misspelled spelling or typo. However, if we include the spelling H-O-R-D with E, I can provide a definition. So here's the definition. Horde with E refers to a large group or crowd of people or animals. So, for example of it, ito na yung mga tribe or small communities like barangays, ganun. So, the word horde with spelling H-O-A-R-D, it is a stock of money or valued objects. For example, ito yung warehouse or bodega. So, the next word are the home and home. So, everyone knows naman about home, right? But home is relating to place where one lives. While the hone, it is sharpening skills or making something perfect. For example of hone, he honed his public speaking skills through regular practice and coaching. So, let's proceed to other words, which are immemorial and immortal. Immemorial, it indicates the ancient and long-lasting nature. For example, the immemorial costume. Ito na yung mga like parang antiques na gamit, like ito yung immemorial. Like yung we have cabinet na mga antiques na talaga, ganun. While the immortal, it is an immortal being. Example of immortal being are the goddess, Greek goddess. For example, si Achilles. He was a hero in Trojan War, and he was known for his exceptional and combat skills. So let's proceed to other words. The intolerable and intolerant. Intolerable, unable to endure. For example, the heat is so intolerable. Or in other words, intolerable, ito yung parang hindi mo matatagalan. The heat, hindi mo talaga matatagalan yung init. While the intolerant refers to someone who is unable or unwilling to endure something. For example, Michael was intolerant in ignorance. Ito yung intolerant, ito yung parang hindi nagpaparaya. In intolerable, hindi matatagalan, while the intolerant, hindi nagpaparaya. So, let's proceed to the next words. The regardless and irregardless. Regardless, it is without paying attention to the present situation. While the irregardless, it is the non-standard means of regardless. So, other words are later and latter. Later, it is typically implies time frame. For example, see you later. While the latter, occurring nearer to the end of something, the beginning. For example, the latter part of your relationship is the best thing that happened in your relationship. So the last words are the lay and late. Lay, refers to put down, especially gently or carefully. For example, he lay down on the bed. While the laid, it is the participle of lay. So the next words will be discussed by Ma'am Maricar.
Thank you so much, Teacher Jolene. Now let's proceed to another words. Lay and lie. So lay is a verb that commonly means to put or set something down. So example of this is unfold the blanket and lay it down on the floor. Next is lie. Lie is a verb that commonly means to be in or to assume a horizontal position. So example of this is this stuff is pretty groundbreaking, you'd better lie down. So in other words, lay refers to a direct object while lie does not. So next is led and lead. Led means to guide, direct, be in charge, or to bring something about. So example of this is she led the party through the marshland. So next is lead. Lead means to guide in a way, especially by going in advance. So example of lead is he walks with a stick but still leads his soldiers into battle. So next is loan and lend. Loan is a thing that is borrowed, especially a sum of money that is expected to be paid back with interest. So example of this is she needed money, so she asked her friend for a loan. So next is lend. Lend is to give someone something, typically money or an item. So example of this is Justin asked me to lend him my car. So next is lessen and lesson. So lessen means to make something smaller or reduce in amount, intensity, or degree. So example of lesson is if a person takes pain medication, it may lessen their discomfort. So next is lesson. Lesson refers to a unit of instruction usually given in a classroom setting aimed at imparting knowledge or skill. So example of this is the experience taught her a valuable lesson about trust. So now let's proceed to another words. Liable and liable. So liable refers to the person legally responsible for something such as a debt that is owed. So example of this is the driver of the car is liable for any property damage caused by the accident. So next is libel. Libel referring to statements made about someone without just cause and exposing them to public contempt. So example of libel is the newspaper was found guilty of libel after publishing a false information about the mayor. So next is lightening and lightning. So lightening refers to making something lighter in weight or color. So example of this is the designers applied a lightening filters to the background image. Next is lightning. Lightning refers to the electrical discharge during a storm. Example of this is the lightning storm frightened my dog last night. So now let's proceed to another words that have the same pronunciation but different spellings and meanings. Meat, meat, and meat. Meat, as in meat, refers to the flesh of an animal that is eaten by human beings. So example of this is the meat was delicious tonight. Next is meat, meat. means refers to come into physical proximity with someone or to gather with others. So example of this is, I am going to meet him tonight. Next is meet. M-E-T. It refers to measure out, especially to measure out punishment or justice. So example of this is, after being caught stealing, the boy waited his father to mete out his punishment. So next is moot and mute. Moot refers to something being unimportant or irrelevant. So example of moot is, they've come to a moot point and nobody was ready to listen another opinion anymore. Next is mute. Mute means to be completely silenced. So example of this is, please mute your microphone because there's too much noise on your background. So let's proceed to another word, which is the know and know. So know is to know something, means to have knowledge about it. So example of this is, yes, I know about the project. Next is no. The no is opposite of yes. So example of this is, no, I will not allow this. So now let's proceed to the last words, which is the overdue and overdue. So overdue means to do something to an excessive degree. So example of overdue is, don't overdo it with the sugar when you make the cookies. Next is overdue. Overdue means late or delayed beyond the expected time. So example of overdue is, the library book was overdue and the librarian had to charge a fine. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new today.